What if I told you the king is about to be dethroned? While everyone's been staring at Bitcoin's six-figure price tag, a sleeping giant just woke up. It's April 2026, and the digital gold versus digital oil debate just turned into a full-blown war for market dominance. I'm going to try and predict whether XRP or Bitcoin will dominate the crypto market in 2026. Welcome back to the channel. Look, we are witnessing a true clash of titans. For a decade, Bitcoin has been the undisputed heavyweight champ, the store of value that even your grandma's financial advisor is finally buying. But right now, the vibe is shifting. While Bitcoin is out here being a pet rock for billionaires, XRP has been grinding in the trenches of global finance. We're talking about a total paradigm shift. We've got the Clarity Act hitting the Senate floor, the SEC finally being forced to play nice, and institutional money moving from speculation to actual utility. Is 2026 the year Ripple finally flips the script? Or is Bitcoin's network effect just too massive to break? We're breaking down the data, the secret legislative moves in the UK and USA, and the price targets that are making the XRP army and BTC maxis lose their minds. This isn't just a bull market, it's a battle for the soul of the financial system. All right, let's keep it a stack. Even in 2026, the crypto market is a straight-up minefield. If you think this is just a moon mission, you're about to get rugged by reality. We have two massive problems standing in the way of a clear winner. First, let's talk about the king. Bitcoin is currently bouncing around that $76,000 to $82,000 resistance zone, but it's struggling with a major identity crisis. Is it still a revolutionary currency? Or has it just become a boomer bond for BlackRock? The network is solid, sure, but the fees and the speed? Compared to what's out there now, it's like trying to run a marathon in work boots. The challenge for BTC in 2026 is saturation. If everyone who wanted to buy has already bought through an ETF, where does the new hype money come from? Then you've got XRP. Man, the XRP army has been through the trenches. We finally got that SEC digital commodity classification back in March, and the Clarity Act is the talk of DC right now. But here's the problem. Adoption isn't a guarantee of price. Even with Ripple's ODL moving billions, we're seeing a weird disconnect. XRP is sitting around $1.40 while people are screaming for $5. Why? Because Ripple just launched their own stablecoin, RLUSD, and some big-brain analysts think banks might actually prefer the stablecoin over XRP for bridge liquidity. If the banks choose the stablecoin, does the XRP token even matter anymore? It's the ultimate trade-off. Bitcoin has the legendary status, but zero speed. XRP has the tech and the legal wins, but it's fighting its own ecosystem for relevance. If you're holding both, you're basically betting on two different versions of the future. All right, let's get into the weeds because 2026 is moving fast. If you're still playing by 2024 rules, you're already behind. We need to look at the structural shift happening in both camps. Let's start with the king. Bitcoin isn't just digital gold anymore. It's officially the bedrock of the institutional era. Grayscale just dropped their 2026 outlook, and they're calling for the death of the 4-year cycle. Why? Because the macro demand for a fiat hedge is hitting an all-time high. With global debt spiraling, the big players aren't looking for 100 times gains. They're looking for a life raft. We're seeing Bitcoin move into a supercycle phase, where the halving matters less than the massive inflows from sovereign wealth funds. It's becoming the high-yield savings account of the 1%, and that floor is getting higher every single day. But while Bitcoin is building a fortress, XRP is building a highway. Ripple is pulling a massive pivot in 2026 that most people are completely sleeping on. They've moved way beyond just cross-border payments. We're talking about XRP Ecosystem 2.0. They've just funneled over $500 million into developer grants, specifically targeting AI agents. Imagine autonomous AI bots on-chain, using the XRP ledger to settle microtransactions instantly without needing a human in the loop. And then there's the stablecoin factor. People were worried RLUSD would kill XRP, but the data coming out this month shows the opposite. XRP is acting as the liquidity bridge, while RLUSD handles the settlement. It's a tag team effort. Japanese banks are already reporting 60% cost savings over SWIFT by using this exact combo. So here's the development. Bitcoin is winning the store of value war by becoming a boring, reliable institution. Meanwhile, XRP is winning the utility war by turning the ledger into a high-speed playground for AI and global banking. The question is, in a world of high inflation, do people want to hold the gold, or do they want to own the machine that moves the money? Okay, here's where it gets real. We've talked about the tech and the store of value narrative, but 2026 just handed us a black swan that changes the entire scoreboard. This is the moment where the flip becomes a mathematical possibility, instead of just a Twitter pipe dream. While everyone was watching the price charts, the 2026 Clarity Act didn't just give XRP rules. It gave Ripple a license to eat the traditional banking system from the inside out. But that's not even the climax. The real holy shit moment happened just last month when the first sovereign wealth fund in the Middle East didn't just buy Bitcoin. They actually integrated the XRP ledger into their regional settlement system. Think about the leverage here. Bitcoin is a vault. It's passive. You buy it, you sit on it, you wait for the dollar to die. But XRP? In 2026, it's becoming the connective tissue of the digital economy. We're seeing a scenario where Bitcoin might hit $150,000, a solid 2 times from here. But XRP, fueled by a supply squeeze and massive institutional ODL volume, is eyeing that $5 to $8 range. If you do the math, that's a 700% gain for XRP versus a 100% gain for Bitcoin. The key moment isn't about XRP having a higher price per coin. That's never going to happen. The climax is about market cap dominance. In 2026, we are officially on flip watch. If XRP captures just 10% of the SWIFT daily volume, the sheer utility demand would create a buy pressure that Bitcoin's hodlers simply can't match. We are looking at a world where Bitcoin is the gold in the basement, but XRP is the electricity running the entire city. And in a high-speed world, the electricity is always more valuable than the gold. All right, let's wrap this up. We've looked at the stats, the legislation, and the pure utility plays. Here is the bottom line for 2026. The winner depends entirely on what kind of investor you are. If you're looking for the indestructible fortress, Bitcoin is your play. With the SEC pivoting under the new administration and talk of a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve actually hitting the mainstream, BTC has matured. It's sitting around that $77,000 to $80,000 range right now, acting like a true global safe haven. It's not going to give you a 100 times anymore, but it's the coin that's going to keep your wealth from melting while the fiat world burns. It wins the trust war hands down. But if you're looking for explosive growth driven by actual work, XRP is the dark horse that finally found its stride. The Clarity Act might have some banking-friendly yield bands, but the institutional adoption of the XRP ledger is undeniable. From the Tokyo 2026 summits to the Middle Eastern settlement deals, XRP is finally proving it's the digital oil of the new financial system. It wins the utility war, and for a lot of people in this space, that's where the real life-changing money is made. In 2026, Bitcoin is the gold in the vault, but XRP is the engine under the hood. Most of you probably need both, but the era of Bitcoin being the only play is officially over. So, that's the 2026 outlook. We've got Bitcoin holding the line as the ultimate hedge, and XRP fighting to become the actual backbone of the banking system. But look, I want to hear from the real boots on the ground. Which side are you leaning on for the rest of this year? Are you betting on the Clarity Act sending XRP to that $15 bull case? Or do you think Bitcoin is about to leave every other asset in the dust as it heads for the $250,000 mark? Drop your predictions in the comments. I'm going to be jumping in there to see who's got the most based take. If you found this deep dive helpful, do me a solid. Smash that like button and hit subscribe. We're tracking these institutional moves and legislative shifts every single week, so you don't get caught slipping. Stay savvy, keep those keys safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.